Hi, my name is Lesedi Dawn. Welcome back to the Adulting 101 series where we talk about all things adulting, okay? And today we'll be talking about how to get your first job, especially if you come from a third world country such as South Africa, which is where I'm from. Unemployment is such a huge problem, with more youth graduating and entering the job market than jobs we have available. This is unfortunately the sad reality, but it is reality. For instance, in my country, South Africa, our unemployment rate amongst the youth is about 80%. I don't know though if they were taking into account the whole gig economy in these stats, but those are the stats, and unfortunately, that is our reality. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I went about getting my first job. So looking for a job during these tough times does not make things easier. Today, I'll be sharing with you 5 ways in which I went about getting my first job. This is advice that, looking back to when I started working, these are things that I used. These are things that saved me. These are things that led to where I am right now. The fact that I'm in a position to make the most of opportunities that come to me, or the fact that I position myself in a way that I am able to spot opportunities, it just speaks for itself. So this is not just advice that relates to just getting your first job, but it is advice that relates to getting future jobs or future opportunities as well. Just a little bit of background: I started working when I was 18 years old. Throughout my entire varsity college experience, I was working weekends, evenings. I was working, okay? Days off when I didn't have class, I was working. I was just that girl who's working, okay? But fast forward graduation, I graduated February 2015, and in March I had a job, and it is because of these 5 things. Number 1, start early. I started very early. I did not wait for graduation. I did not wait to be qualified. I did not wait to turn 21 and walk down that stage in my black gown. I made the most of what I had available to me. So I advise you to start early. And when I say early, the best time to start would have been 5 years ago or yesterday. But the next best time to start is definitely today. You're never too young, and no experience ever goes wasted. That is just the honest truth. You never know what opportunity might lead you to your next opportunity. I think the biggest challenge right now with my country, specifically being South Africa, is that many of our youth have some sort of pride. We don't want to do specific jobs because maybe we feel like they might be beneath us, or we feel like we are studying something so important, and therefore the opportunities that are available don't line up with our ambition. But what you don't realize is that you're missing the opportunity to come across people that might lead you to your next opportunity. Perhaps the opportunity that you have available right now is the option of becoming a waitress at your local coffee shop, but because you're studying accounting, you might feel like you should be the one managing that coffee shop's books. And I get you and I understand. But sometimes you might bump into your next employer, some owner of some hedge fund company, having coffee at that particular coffee spot, and how you treat them, and the fact that you're able to help them calculate the divisions of their bill from the top of your head just showcases your skill set, and they might be able to pick up on that, and that could lead to an opportunity such as doing an internship or getting a graduate program with that particular firm. But you would have not had access to that opportunity had you not be willing to start from somewhere such as waitressing at a coffee shop. Okay, so that is what I mean by starting early and taking advantage of any opportunity that is presented to you. Another example that I'll make in this case is that you might be studying fashion, so you feel like you want to work for one of the big fashion iconic brands in the world, but you're just going to wait till you graduate, make your submissions, and hope that Louis Vuitton hires you, or hope that Vera Wang knows your name somehow. But life is not always linear. Success is not always linear. No experience is ever wasted. So if you are someone that is into fashion, perhaps start at retail. Start at retail level while you're still in varsity, while you're still in college, while you're still in high school even. If you can, where you're using your summer holidays to work a particular job or to pick up a couple of hours, a couple of shifts, Yes, that money will help you, but also that adds to your experience. By the time you graduate as a fashion student, the fact that you've worked 6 months at Zara, or you worked for 3 months at Zara, or you worked part-time at Zara for a year, it will definitely set you apart. You never know where you might find an opportunity. So you might have been a waitress at a coffee shop. While you're there, even maybe you might not bump into the hedge fund company owner and help them divide their bill. But the coffee shop realizes that you are someone who's studying accounting and you're really, really good with numbers, and the owner does not have time to manage all of the bookkeeping and so on and so forth. And then now you go from becoming a waitress to now doing the bookkeeping or managing the books of that particular coffee shop. Again, that would not have been an opportunity that would have been available to you had you not been willing to start at that particular point. So start as early as possible, okay? Number 2, internships. Getting an internship makes the most absolute difference. Again, do not wait till your third year of studies to get an internship. Maybe you might not even be studying towards something because maybe you don't have money at home, or they couldn't send you to school, and so on and so forth. Whatever the case is, an internship will set you apart. Many big corporates aren't willing to take the risk on young graduates or youngsters as a whole, okay? They're not willing to take a risk on young people because they feel like they are not well equipped or well knowledgeable in doing the actual practical side of things. Research, obviously, depending on your field, depending on your industry, you're going to want to research a number of companies. Come up with a list of, let's say, your top 20 companies in your particular industry. Look them up, follow them on social media, because sometimes what they'll do is they might not post as frequently on their website when they're looking to fill a particular post, or they're looking for an assistant in a particular department. They might only post on their social media platforms. So you're going to want to follow a handful of those and apply to as many opportunities as you can. Just shoot your shot, man. Just shoot your shot. You never know what will land, but if you're shooting one shot a week, your chances of getting that opportunity are almost slim to, I don't want to say none, but you're going to want to shoot as many shots as possible. I promise something will stick. But you can't be applying to one job a week, or even 2, or even 5, okay? You want to up that number to a crazy amount that just sounds ridiculous, so that you can increase your odds. So don't sleep on yourself. Make the most of the time that you have available to your disposal. By the time I graduated at 21, I had 2 years of working experience. So it is not by chance that I graduated in February and March I had a full-time job. My first full-time job only took me a month. But what you don't realize in that story is that I did not start applying for that job after I graduated. I in fact started applying for that job November of the previous year. So November, December, January, February, March. It was only in March that I got the job, but those other months I used to apply. And I only graduated in month 4. So these 3 months were me purely applying prior to even being qualified, okay? And I will tell you, because I kept a log, I kept notes, because I knew that someday this information would be useful, and it might be information that is just going to motivate someone to keep going. I applied, are you ready for it? So I applied to 77 jobs, and my 7th interview was my first job. I know that sounds ridiculous. I kept a log during those 3 months when I was applying like crazy. That was my job. I in fact stopped interning at that point because I just wanted to go hard in making sure that I am looking for a job, because looking for a job is kind of like a job in itself. You need to spend hours in a day looking for a job. It's not a 10-minute thing that you do during your coffee break. Yes, you can if you're already working, but getting your first job is honestly really, really hard. So treat it like a part-time job. Schedule it into your schedule. Fit in a couple of hours where you're relooking your CV, you are personalizing those cover letters as well, and you're applying on multiple different platforms. I can't honestly stress that enough. I've seen so many people only know about one particular platform like Indeed.co.za and only applying there when there is honestly more than 5 really good platforms, and I will just name a few just to make your life easier. I'll also link this in the description box. You've got Career Junction, you've got Indeed.com, you've got Careers24, you've got social media. Again, sometimes these agencies or these companies might choose to advertise by themselves, so look into that as well. By following the right companies, you will then know when opportunities are available. Again, through social media, most of these companies will have the jobs listed on their websites, so they might lead you to there to apply. Another thing that I've seen a lot of people struggle with, and I used to struggle with this myself, is that some big corporates actually have their own career portal on their website that will require you to set up an entire profile, and some will give you the option of being able to export your profile from like a Career Junction or Careers24, and some will want you to manually put it in. Please put it in, especially if you know that it's a company that you see yourself working for in the future. Please put in your details, because that 20 minutes that it takes to put in your details might lead to an opportunity that you thought was 20 years from now. So take the time to put it in. Ultimately, honestly speaking, this is a numbers game. The 5th platform that is really good for job hunting is LinkedIn. Okay, so let's jump into LinkedIn. Tip number 3, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional social media platform. Yes, LinkedIn is a social media platform. It's more for your professional side of yourself, where you're able to connect and network with your peers as well as your colleagues and other potential employers in future. Now, LinkedIn has such a great built-in feature where companies and recruiters are able to advertise for a job post. You are also able to set up your LinkedIn profile in such a way that you are getting alerts when there are these job requests or these job opportunities within your spec. So using particular keywords, so if you're in marketing, using like for instance marketing assistant, marketing intern, and so on and so forth. So by getting alerts for those particular terms means that you will be able to make sure that you're not missing out on any of those opportunities. Again, you're gonna want to make sure that when you're setting up your LinkedIn profile, that it's presenting you in the best light as possible, in the most professional way that you can potentially see yourself being. If it means that now you must wear a blouse and look extra serious and extra cute, well, more serious, less cute, do that. Do that, because the last thing you want is to be seen as just like this young individual that might be inexperienced. So make sure that you're presenting yourself in the best light as possible. Basically, your LinkedIn profile is your live CV, your digital CV, but it should be more enthusiastic, a bit more forthcoming, and just more full of life, honestly. So make sure that it's not too rigid, because nobody wants that. That just sounds boring. So come across as enthusiastic, as knowledgeable, as the right person for the job. Whatever the job is, just make sure that you are presenting yourself to the best of your ability. Number 4, you're gonna want to tap into your network. Sometimes it is who you know and who knows you. And I'd be lying if I did not include that bit. It speaks to everything we know. Your network determines your net worth. It's not to say that you're going to get the job just because you know the right person. No, it just means that if there were 2 candidates that were shooting for the same shot, and one of the candidates knew somebody else, or the other candidate has an idea of the other person or knows someone that's trusted that person, they can trust that person. That person becomes the right person for the job, because it's not just about how you look on paper, it's about your character as well. So if I've trusted you before, I refer you to someone, chances of you getting the job are higher, because that person already has a relationship with me and they trust me, and they know that I would not recommend somebody that I don't trust. Do you understand how this whole thing works? And that is why they say that your network determines your net worth. It is your net worth. So it's not always to say that you know the right person. Sometimes you know someone that knows someone, and there's an opportunity somewhere. Last but not least, and probably the most important out of all these tips, number 5 is to just ask. I know you're probably expecting something more philosophical, something a bit more deeper, like a deep quote insert here. Just ask. We have not because we ask not. So just ask. Sometimes we are afraid to ask, and I understand. Sometimes we're afraid to ask because we don't want to put ourselves out there, because we're afraid that it makes us a little bit vulnerable. Vulnerability is actually not a bad thing. I think it's a really good thing. But often we're afraid to ask because we don't want to come across as desperate. I don't view it that way. I think people that are brave enough to ask are really the people that deserve the opportunities, because they are willing to put themselves out there. They're willing to make mistakes. They are willing to just learn from the mistakes, because honestly speaking, that just means that someone is enthusiastic, they are proactive, they are not afraid to seem like a fool for 2 minutes because they asked something. I mean, honestly, the worst that could happen is somebody says no, or someone says, nah, not at this point, but you've planted a seed. And if a month or two from now, there is an opportunity, or a person is finding themselves feeling frustrated or overwhelmed with their workload, the fact that you offered to help 2 months ago will come through for you. They will remember that, and they'll probably reach out to you. But often enough, many of us are not planting enough seeds, but however, we expect to be able to harvest. But throw yourself to opportunities, because you never know what might lead to what, okay? That's it from me today. I hope that you did find this video helpful and valuable. If you did, please click the like button. It just lets me know what sort of content you like seeing from me. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye.